One of the keys to having a good, healthy tank full of fish is to start with good, healthy fish. When you decide on the type of fish you want to keep, have a good understanding of what this fish should look like. Look to make sure that its eyes are nice and clean and clear, that you don't have any sort of white bacterial hazes over the eyes, which is generally a negative sign to water quality or the general health of the fish. Make sure the scales are well inlined and in good condition. Make sure the fins are of appropriate length, that are not all split. The eye of the fish should be in proportion to the rest of the body, meaning that if you look at various fish within the aquarium, how big the eye of the fish is relative to ones amongst that species will tell whether the fish has been stunted. If a fish has been stunted, it'll be quite a small fish. It'll have what seems to be a proportionately large eye. What you're really looking for is the proportion of the eye, whether the eye is swollen by any means, which could indicate like a bacterial infection, or the haze over the eye. You want the eye clean, clear and sharp. This particular fish is a silver shark, which has got a bacterial infection in its eyes. If you see this eventuating in any of your fish, make sure that your water quality is improved and add an antibacterial medication, and generally increase the amount of salt that's in the water. Make sure the fish are maintaining their position in the water very comfortably, which would be signifying that their swim bladder is intact. If the fish seems to be fighting to get to the bottom or doesn't look comfortable in the water column, you would definitely want to avoid that fish. Make sure when you're buying the fish that the fins, particularly the pectoral fins, are very clean and clear. Various diseases, fungal, bacterial and parasitic diseases very much show up on the pectoral fin of the fish. Make sure that the pectoral fin is clean and clear and that the fish is waving the pectoral fin comfortably, not performing erratic movements with the pectoral fin. That will generally indicate irritation of a parasitic nature. When you see them shimmying in one spot or scratching against the rocks, that may indicate that they have contracted a parasitic infection, which will spread and develop. By far the most common problem that you'll experience would be white spot. White spot is a disease which is always present in the fish, just like a common cold. Now this white spot is a pathogen which in the event of stress will proliferate in the aquarium. So the way the white spot works is when the fish becomes stressed, the immune system of the fish goes down. The white spot will actually grow on the fish, leave the fish, reduplicate by the hundreds of million on a hard surface, then come back looking for a new host. Now if it comes back and meets a host which is well established in the aquarium and has a good immune system, the equilibrium within the fish will control this basically with no problems. On the other hand, if it met a new fish or a fish which was significantly stressed due to either bad water quality, other fish in the aquarium bullying it, or anything else that may stress that particular fish, it will make the immune system of the fish lower, therefore more likely to contract the white spot. These parasites are very easy to identify. The fish will tend to breathe heavier. The fish will tend to be less active and look less comfortable in the water. It will flick and it will often just swim on the spot looking quite anxious or irritated. An easy physical way of seeing whether the fish have got white spot is during the more secondary phases of the infection. You'll easily see on the pectoral fin of the fish some very small white dots forming onto the fin of the fish. Along the rest of the fins is easy to see, even on the eye of the fish. As soon as you see this, you need to treat it with an anti-parasitic medication. There's many different brands available on the market which are really quite effective, providing you get the medication in there quickly and your water quality is relatively high and you don't have any carbon filters which will suck this medication out of the water. Generally, it's quite easy to control, and the earlier you get onto this disease, the easier it is to cure. It's really important to give it at least 2 weeks after you've totally cured the disease before you think about adding new fish to the aquarium, because white spot is a contagious disease. The new fish are quite likely to contract the disease as well. So white spot is quite common. The key is to be able to identify if they do get it, so therefore you can treat it. Treat it as soon as possible with what you understand to be the most effective medication which is available to you. Increase the amount of salt, then monitor your fish.